like to welcome B.
No, the spirit of Auroville is collaboration. So we all have to work together as a family. And the idea of Matrimandir that the mother gave is the idea that I think we should all follow. Because Matrimandir is not my idea or your idea or anybody's idea. It comes directly from the divine. And the mother was so clear what she wanted, what she didn't want. But we've had trouble with that over the last 50 years. But now we have to get over that. So that's where we are today. And how do we get over that? We follow what she said. So this place, as she said, is not a temple. What is it then? What is the Matrimandir? There's a nice little book. There's a woman in Auroville, an Aurovillian. She wrote this beautiful book. It's called What is Matrimandir? Anybody here ever read the book? No? Well, it's a great book. And what she puts in that book is what other people have experienced about Matrimandir. So she went around in 2017 or talked to people. What happened to you in Matrimandir? So she collected all these little stories. Please have a seat.
Thank you.
Karinga. So what happened, she also put in the front of this little booklet all the gardens, all the colors, all the symbols, all that. Because there's a huge symbolic significance of Matrimandir that most people don't know. Did anybody ever go to the Auroville website and check on Matrimandir? Nobody.
Before, but not.
Because when you go there, it says, right in the opening page, it says Soul of Auroville. And then you click on that, then the Matrimandir comes, some things that Mother said, some history. But there's a movie there also. Doris, who passed away a couple of years ago, she made a beautiful documentary on Matrimandir, the whole history. So that's right there. You can get it anytime on your phone and listen to it. And then this Serena, she makes these films, Matrimandir and I. And she made about, I don't know, maybe at least by now 20 of those little films. And they're on YouTube. So all different people, their experience of Matrimandir. So to get to know Matrimandir, it's good you, just look at some of these things. Because without that background, it's pretty mysterious. And this woman even said, what is Matrimandir? She said, this might be the most mysterious monument in modern times. You think that's possible? She put a question mark. Does anybody know about Vastu? Okay, Vastu is in the Indian tradition. It's how things are made, how energy moves. Some people know about Feng Shui. This is an Asian, Chinese, where you put things, how things are arranged for energy. And then there's sacred geometry. All three of these things are combined in this building. The building is totally symbolic. And those symbols are very strong. They're energetic symbols. But what happens to us mostly is we're thinking when we go inside. That's why when you go to Matrimandir, the most important thing is to calm down and not think. Because if you're planning your life in there or your lunch, you're wasting your time. Those thoughts will come, obviously, but you let that go and you breathe. In Matrimandir, you have to do only one thing, breathe. You take a normal in-breath and then breathe out a little bit slowly. And then you calm down. Because what you want to receive in Matrimandir is the energy. And that's the energy of the mother. And that's why it's called Matrimandir. Matri, of course, is the mother. A mandir is a dedicated space. This dedicated space is for the mother. But then we have to be clear, okay, who's the mother? Anybody know who the mother is? Pardon? No, no. She embodied the mother. But we have another, we have the universal mother.
Divine Mother.
Exactly. But it's also called in every language Mother Earth. Because everything manifests is coming from the mother. And we say Mother Nature. And in India, we're a little smarter, we say Mother India. Because we understand that energy. And that's the energy of manifestation. If I didn't have a mother, I wouldn't be here. None of us would. And the mother is embedded in all of nature. And that's why not only the building, but the gardens are so important. We're sitting here under neem trees. Anybody know the vibration of the neem tree? She does. Tell me. Oh, you don't know. She works in the gardens, so I thought she would know. Anybody? What's the vibration of the neem tree? The mother wrote it in the flowers and messages. We're sitting under that vibration. These two trees are giving us something. I have to tell you, I guess. It's spiritual atmosphere. And the tree gives it to everybody. And the tree never fails, never discriminates. So, if we're receptive, what are we going to feel sitting here? Spiritual atmosphere. And the whole gardens are structured around states of consciousness. We have the first 3 gardens here that contain the secret of the Veda. Did anybody read the book Sri Aurobindo wrote called The Secret of the Veda? Anybody read the book? Not one? Not one person? Well, anyway, even if you read it, everybody I've asked who's read it, I asked them, okay, you read the book, what's the secret? No one has ever been able to tell me. And Sri Aurobindo wrote in that book, toward the end, I mean, there's a lot of interesting things in the beginning, but toward the end he gets to the point, and he said, the secret of the Veda will always remain secret because people don't get it. And the secret is, and he gave it in one word. Anybody know that one word? Sat Chit Ananda. Existence, consciousness, bliss. So if you're aware that you're aware, you feel the bliss and you know what to do. That's the secret of the Veda. And so, first garden, existence, Sat. Next garden, right over on the other side, Chit, the consciousness. Right here, bliss, those cups. That's the bliss garden, Ananda. First 3 gardens, the secret of the Veda. You can get enlightened just walking into those gardens. Now those gardens, of course, are evolving with us. First existence garden just had a rock with water dripping. Now it's got crystals from Brazil. Now what's a crystal? Those big crystals. I think you've seen, all of you have seen that, I guess. You've gone to the Garden of Existence, these huge crystals from Brazil. A little crystal will run a radio. What would that crystal do? And there's 3 benches there that are crystal. If you sit on that crystal bench, what happens? Your body is energy. You're sitting on granite. How old is granite? 2 billion years old. Okay, this granite has been on the planet for 2 billion years. That's a lot of energy absorbed. Your body has been here for a few years. But the energies connect. This is all about energy. Matrimandir, you could call it a cyclotron, a particle accelerator. It's for the cells of the body. If you read what's written on the back of that guy's shirt, what does it say on the back of your shirt? To be a true Aurovillian. Do you ever read what Mother said to be a true Aurovillian? What do you have to do? You remember any of the points? So it's very simple. Get rid of ownership, work, and then she said you got to work for the supermental that's coming, the evolution, to be a true Aurovillian. And to be a true Aurovillian, you got to connect to that energy. And what's the energy we're talking about now? Mother's energy. And what's Mother's energy? What's the energy of the mother? What is it? We have these wonderful mothers here.
Unconditional love.
Yes, exactly right. So love is the energy of the mother. And what created everything? Love. And what did Einstein say? E equals mc squared. You all know that probably from school. And they asked him, what's the E? What's the energy? He didn't say electricity or atoms moving. He wrote a beautiful letter to his daughter and he explained it. And he said, the energy of the universe is, tell me again?
Unconditional love.
Yeah, he said it's love. We all know that intuitively, but we're not connected to it. And the world's not connected to it. That's why the world is at war. And everything is falling apart. And the currency is going down. And everything's going digital. And we have pollution and we have poverty. And we are lucky, rich people, but not all our brothers and sisters. 3/4 of the planet are suffering seriously. And what are we doing about it? Well, we're here to build the new world. That means we have to understand, learn, and get to human unity. And how do you get there? The mother's energy, love. So how do you get the love? Where is the love? Inside. So that's why we go inside that building. And what do we go in when we go inside? We go into a marble chamber. Floor, walls, everything is marble. Why is that? Because marble is a very pure form of energy. And it's also 2 billion years old on this planet. And we have the best marble in the world in Matrimandir. The Carrara marble that Michelangelo used. Have you ever seen that statue of David and all those things? He used the same marble that's in that room. And then in India, the best marble, some of the best marbles are coming from Rajasthan. And they build temples and palaces out of them. Where is that marble? In Matrimandir. We got the 2 best marbles in the world inside. So your body is in there. And so if you're thinking about, you're worried about your money or something when you're sitting in there, you're wasting your time. You want to connect to the energy that created that marble and the whole thing. And the mother designed that room. That's not Roger. Roger did this outside thing. Inside, the mother gave him all the direction. I think you know this. She told him, make the room 24 meters, double 12. 12 is double perfection. 12 gardens, 12 petals, 12 pillars inside, 12-sided wall. What does all that mean? Double perfection, containing the energy. And you go in there. That's why I say when you go to Matrimandir, you relax. But people are not using Matrimandir. Aurovillians are a little bit slow. If they were using Matrimandir, we wouldn't have divisions in Auroville. Because they would understand what we have to do. And we have a responsibility to humanity to do our work, bring the supramental to be true Aurovillians. And if you want to know how to do it, there's 2 volumes. Gilles Guigan put down everything the mother wrote about Auroville. You just read it. It's so clear. She says She makes a little notes. The little notes are printed in there. Stop lying. Underlined 3 times. All these little notes. Everything is there. How to live here, what to eat, the housing. She gave everything, but people are not doing it. So that's what we have to do. Connect to the mother's love, then it will happen. And that's what the building is for. That's why it's the soul of the city. We all have a soul. And here we call it a psychic being because that's the soul in formation from life to life. So we go in Matrimandir, our soul, our psychic being is energized with that love. Then we can be who we are. And if we all are who we are, we have it made. The life divine. That's what Sri Aurobindo called his book. And then he gave you a map in Savitri, how to do it. All the planes of consciousness, the journey to conquer death, the journey to conquer ignorance. And he also gave the secret in Savitri. In Savitri, he told us exactly what to do. Anybody remember those famous lines? You know, Savitri has this tremendous journey, conquers death, brings back her husband to life. And then this sage asks her, how did you do it? Do you know what she said? Anybody remember? You can paraphrase it. Nobody remembers what Savitri said, the trick, the secret is. I mean, it's Sri Aurobindo. He said, he had her say, awakened to the meaning of my heart, that to feel love, feel love and oneness is to live. And this, the magic of our golden change, is all the truth I know or seek, O sage. There it is, the whole formula. To be alive, you have to be able to feel love and oneness. And if you feel love and oneness, you're in a bliss state, you're in Satchidananda. And then you will do what you have to do because his job's not his job. And she has a special job that she doesn't have. How are you going to get to your own Dharma? Everybody will tell you, your parents, your friends, the government, the corporations. No, only you know. But how do you get there? That's why we have this building. So you can become quiet enough. This sacred space, all these gardens, all these flowers have significances. Psychological perfection. You walk by that flower over there. There's a flower over there, an orange flower. Anybody know what that flower is? You can see it from here. A whole bush full of flowers.
The grace divine, the hibiscus?
No. Well, that divine grace is a little over there, the white ones. No, the one right there at the corner, the golden ones. Anybody know what flower that is? No. What? No. That's the white tree. I'm talking about the gold bush right there. Right in front of you. Huh? That one. Yes, the hibiscus flower. Auroville flower. And what is the name of the Auroville flower? What is the name of the Auroville flower? You guys are all newcomers now. You've got to get all this stuff. Hope he's recording it, so you can look at the film, get it all back. The Auroville flower is the beauty of supramental love. You can't do better than that. And everybody who comes to Matrimandir walks by that flower. What is that flower doing? Giving that vibration. Most people in the world know about roses, huh? Everywhere roses are for love. You know, you love somebody, you have a fight, you give them some roses. Because even if you have no love in you, you give somebody a rose, the rose gives love. Because what is making that flower? How did it come out of the ground, out of a thorny plant, and turn into all those colors, that perfume? How did it happen? Love. So love is everything. But we're not connected. Otherwise, we wouldn't have this mess in the world. And it's getting worse. And it's probably going to get a little worse before everybody wakes up, or at least enough people. And then it will go quantum leap. That's what's going to happen. And that building is the energy center to do that. Because the mother said when Auroville was starting, you build it first. Because if people work together on a project that is not their own little house or own little story, work together, they will learn how to work together, and then they can build the city. So build it first. And she said, when it's built, I will do the rest. So when we were working on Matrimandir, we got to finish this building because things are not going so well. It took 37 years. 37 years for that building. You know the ramp you walk up, I worked on that ramp for 3 years every day, moving pipes. We had a man coming from Pondicherry, rode his bicycle out. Peter was his name. He was a Christian man. He rode his bicycle every day, welded all day long. But we had to get all the pipes within 3 millimeters of each other. And he put this beautiful weld around it every day for 3 years this guy worked. And that ramp, what is that ramp? You come up from ground level, you go into the chamber. You go from the 3rd dimension to the 4th dimension. So many visitors come out, they say, oh, this is a spaceship. It feels, you know, they can't identify the energy. Because, so that bridge, that ramp, and I remember working there, you know, filing those things, putting in the pipe. Is this thing ever going to finish? But then I looked up and I said, you know, people are going to walk over this ramp. It's a bridge. It's a bridge to a higher consciousness. So don't worry about the mosquitoes and don't worry about the heat. Keep working. We had to do that. And we had thousands of people work on Matrimandir, you know. People don't realize. In the early years, all the visitors would come and work. There wasn't any place to go. We had no Mark's Coffee. We had no gelato. We had no Cinema Paradiso. These are all very recent. So people, everybody worked on Matrimandir. So it was really something interesting. But don't believe the myth that everything was wonderful then and we didn't fight. No. One time when I was working on Matrimandir, we had 3 groups, 3 crews that weren't talking to each other. Everybody was doing their own thing. But that only lasted for a while. And then we had the big fight in the 70s with the Sri Aurobindo Society. They stopped the cement. We had all kinds of problems. Had a big fight here. The police surrounded Matrimandir. Not the normal police, the federal police, the state police, with rifles with bayonets on the end, and they would stab you if you tried to get in there. But 3 people could gather. If there were more than 3 people, you were breaking the law. So we would work with 3 people at Matrimandir. But they couldn't stand there all day. So after a while, these police were playing cards in the corner, and then we started working. We never stopped. That's another myth. Some people say, oh, the work on Matrimandir stopped. Never stopped. There was always at least 3 people there working. And we built the crane. We had a big crane on top. We built it in the workshop in the back during that time because we could go in the back and do the crane work. So we needed that crane to lift up all the precast beams. So the work has always gone on. Now I've been going on and nobody has challenged me yet. And nobody has asked a question because, you know, there are stories, I can tell you 100 stories, but I want to make sure nobody leaves here saying, oh, I should have asked him this. See, so don't do that. Don't leave here and say, oh, I always wondered in Matrimandir, why this, why that. No, now is the chance. We have to clear all that. So nobody goes away with questions in their mind about Matrimandir. She has one, yes.
Yeah, about the crystal energy. I didn't get what was the crystal energy.
Pardon, I didn't get.
The crystal energy. What is
Oh, the crystal. Okay, the crystal is a great story also. That's another very long story, but I'll make it quick. The crystal is pure transparency. It's the largest man-made crystal in the world. And it's made by Zeiss, who makes the cameras, camera lenses.
So are you talking about the one inside or in the garden? Garden crystal.
Oh, those crystals. Oh, those are natural crystals. Those are from Brazil. Those are crystals. Those are the crystals that occur naturally. But the mother wanted one inside the chamber to amplify the light. So what we see when we're talking about energy, let's back up and say, what's the strongest energy we have around here anywhere in our little solar system? Sun. Sun. Got to get the sun inside. Live sun ray. So on top of Matrimandir, and now they have a new system, not a single moving part. Anyway, but before we had a moving mirror guided by the computer. Now it's a different system, and it's better. But anyway, that live sun ray would come in, it would strike the crystal, get amplified. That was the only light in the room. So all day long, it's changing. A cloud goes in front of the sun, it gets dark, it's always changing. It's a live energy. And the live energy of the sun, of course, gives us life. Without the sun, we're all dead. So light, life, love, these are just words, but it's all one energy. So that energy comes into the crystal, it's amplified. You're sitting there. What happens to you? You're in that light. You're in that energy. See, as long as you're not too distracted. And you absorb that energy. And you come out of Matrimandir, you don't kill anybody. Because if I kill somebody, I kill myself. Because I realize in being absorbed into that energy of we're all one and we're all love, that I am connected to everybody. This is our family. We have a big family, 8 billion people. We're all one, we're all equal. If I kill anybody, I'm killing myself because we're all one. But we're distinct, and we each have to do our dharma. And if we all do our dharma together, we have heaven on earth. So that's the plan. That's the supermental plan. And it's happening. It's happening. Through history, you can see the movement. But it's going to take different estimates. 100 more years? 200, 300? I don't know. But we're going through a period now that is what we would call the crisis in evolution. Sri Aurobindo wrote about 100 years ago. He said the whole mechanical thing's going to fail. A child will be able to destroy it. And you know who the child will be? On their phone. Bring down the International Monetary Fund with a few strokes. So, this is all happening. So, that's a greater reason why we, individually, each of us, has to have that connection. Because outside it's going to look difficult. And how are you going to get through without that faith grounded in your own being? And see what happened to me when I came to Auroville, when I came in 1974, nothing here, people quarreling, no water, no electricity, one telephone. I said, I can't live here. Because at that time, I had a certain personality. My name was Bill. I said, I have to change myself. You can't change the environment until you change yourself. So I took the ill out of Bill. See, that's why my name is B now. Yeah, you have to take the ill out. We all have to go through a transformation. Now, what helps the transformation? The light, the love. Matrimandir is the symbol of that. So that sun is coming in the top, going through the chamber, going through the crystal, going through the floor, next floor, hits the bottom, small crystal, in a lotus pond. Why? The sun strikes the mud. What pops out? The lotus. Out of the mud comes the beauty. This is transformation. And that's what we're doing. Not someday. We're doing it now. We're doing it here. We are here in the spiritual atmosphere, in Matrimandir, transforming. So that's happening to all of us. And it's great. And that's the grace. The grace is there. So don't get discouraged. Don't worry. The mother said nothing can go wrong. The victory is certain. But we want to be part of the victory. We don't want to be, working with the Asuras or anybody. We have to be connected to our Dharma. We have the bliss to do what we feel we must do. And if you don't follow your bliss, this guy Joseph Campbell, I don't know if you ever read his books, Hero with a Thousand Faces, The Hero's Journey. He told in the 60s, he told everybody, follow your bliss. The newspapers attacked him. How can you tell people to follow their bliss? It'll just be a big, huge mess. He said, no, this comes from the Vedas. He was talking about Satchidananda. Satchidananda. So we have our Dharma. We got to do it. Even no matter what anybody says. And we follow that. And the mother is there. The love is there. When we're connected to the love, there's no problem. Now, I'm still talking too much, maybe. Tell me anything else. You guys want to know more things? Yes?
I have a question to the garden. Why is it called unexpected birth, unexpected?
Oh, well, that's a later thing that came. And that was another extra project. But we have the 12 basic gardens.
I know,
Yeah, that unexpected thing came when they wanted to do something for the children, and they were trying to get the gardens going. So there's a whole history to that, but you can read all that because there is the Matrimandir Bulletin. There is also a special website for the Matrimandir. You ask about, they'll give you the whole history. They put it out to a whole bunch of architects. How do we make something for the children? And then it was sort of for the children, then it kind of became for everybody. And then Joss came and a couple of other people and they had a fight and then they all agreed together, we can do it this way. And they made it. And then they made a grass circle over there, same size as the chamber. You know, that round circle, 24 meters with a rock in the middle. So they did some interesting things. And then we have the whole lake story also, which is another story. So all of these things, so you can read about that history. Nothing, as far as information goes, about Matrimandir is not available on the webs, in books. Ruud Lohmann wrote a wonderful book called The House of the Third Millennium. Anybody ever read that book? He spent his whole life here, bending the steel. He was his son is here, Akash. Do you know the Sprout? Akash, that's his little restaurant. He works upstairs. He's got an electronics unit there. So,
What's the book's name?
Book's name is A House for the Third Millennium. It's got a picture of Matrimandir on the front. And it's got a picture of me in there pushing on the ramp. And Dominic Dar stole that picture. My friend took it and she wrote that it was hers and she charged him 25 rupees for the picture. So I know all the backstories. If you want to know some backstories about Matrimandir, I have a lot of those. But the things that are not written in the books, you can ask me. Because Matrimandir is heavily documented. So it's easy to find informative things, like how many meters here and how much steel and how much this, how much that. But the stories are really stories about people. People, you won't believe it. People gave all their money, all their life, everything to build this thing. And many of them have gone to heaven now, It's been a while getting it together. And we're still at it, the gardens, still not ready. The lake, how long will it take to make a 100-meter lake all the way to Town Hall from here? I don't know. So we have all these things.
What would be the significance of the lake?
I don't know. Maybe you would know. Well, one of it is to kind of isolate, and the water absorbs a lot of energy. So the water should have an energy in it that when you cross over the water, you know, because you'll come over a bridge, you'll cross over the water, and you'll be in like a sacred zone. So the water will, I think, give a good vibration. I mean, some people think it's a little too big. I would think it's a little too big, but I think there should be a lake. And a lake is a great idea, and it's very symbolic. It holds energy. All of these things are there. Yeah, that's true. The lake is important. And the mother saw it, and she knew about the lake that was there. But the best thing is just to read what the mother said about Matrimandir. When you read through all of it and what she said about Auroville, then you get a clear picture. Because I will tell you something, and you know, other people will tell you things, and then you don't know. But in Auroville, you know, everything depends on, pretty much on yourself. Auroville is not an institution, you know, it's a family. And we have to take care of each other. And all the information that we need is available. And we do our best. We do our best. Any questions, please?
Yeah,
I'll keep
the human stories.
the human
Which is
stories.
actually what we don't find in books, right?
Yeah.
And you said like it's a spaceship and a particle accelerator and a house at the same time.
Yeah.
So what about human experience inside, going into the fourth dimension or whatever? Like, is there any kind of...
Yeah, yeah. Well, I've had a lot of personal experiences there, and because I take these groups in, every time, you know, first time people, there will be at least one or two people in a group who will have some sort of amazing experience, and they will tell you about the music. Why are you playing that music in there? And I have to tell them there's no music. They hear voices, they see things, they see light effects, they see, you can't imagine what people experience there. I don't know, personally, I've just experienced that connection to the mother and the peace and the love and all those things, you know. These are just words, but I mean, it's become my life. And I'm so happy. You see, I am so fortunate because I get to come here all the time. And I live here and I got to build it. And that's a rare thing. I must have done something fantastic in a past life to get this job of being here. But I mean, there's so many things you can say about, you know, another amazing thing. Okay, so we did this scaffolding. You know, you're way up there, and we're on this scaffolding all the time. You know, you're walking on a little pipe, barefoot, you know, in the hot sun, you know, with another pipe on your shoulder, having to go up another layer. You know, it was a kind of an act of faith. And we had not, you know, of the thousands of people working there, 37 years, we never had a fatal accident. Nobody died. We had only Dion who fell. And that's a story, that you should read the book, the Better to Have Gone. You may have heard of this book. It was written by her son-in-law, Akash Kapoor. He wrote that book, Better to Have Gone. And he describes what happened to his mother. I was standing right near her when it happened. So this was a big tragedy. But theoretically, she should have been dead. She broke her neck. And then they said she'd be paralyzed for life, but she wasn't. But she was paralyzed from the waist down. So we took care of her, and then she had a caretaker who she fell in love with. He died. She committed suicide. So we had another tragedy. So all these stories are there. These are all human, but the fact that we could do all that work all those years and nobody got hurt. I mean, I got a steel rod in my leg, but you know, and it got infected. But I just had to lay down for 2 weeks. But everything else, all that work, you know, and nobody had hard hats. Nobody had, you know, any protection. And we were concrete, cranes, you know, big barrels of cement going up all the time. I mean, people who didn't know what they were doing passed. One guy didn't know what, you know what happened one day? You won't believe this, and it's not in any of the books, don't tell anybody. One day we're working up there on the floor, and we had quite a few volunteers that day, people who hadn't been there before. So we had to move some pipes, so we move all these pipes around. Then we go back, and all of a sudden, I'm there with two other guys. One of them has died now. He said, "Where's the center pipe?" So we had a pipe in the center with a wire. So the wire went out to the edge so we could, you know, keep it perfectly centered and everything. Some guy unscrewed that pipe and took it away to use it. Where is the center of Matrimandir? So we couldn't tell the architect. I mean, the architect, see, actually, you know this, that Roger Anger is the architect, but he was never here. He worked in France and he came and went. But Piero, he was here every day, and an engineer and an architect. So every day he would give us the working drawing. He took the architectural drawings and he said, okay, so much steel, this, and we did it. That's how the process went. So without that pipe, we don't know where the middle of Matrimandir is. So we got together, two guys. We couldn't tell Piero. Piero was also very nervous. So there's more steel in that building and more cement than was required, because he didn't trust the steel, he didn't trust the cement, so he added a lot of extra. So it's very strong, just for your information. But now we didn't have the pipe. So then we just had to stand there and guess. And we built the whole rest of the Matrimandir on that guess. So that's an inside story. That's an inside story. And there are many more. And then also Piero, he was so careful about everything. He had another way of doing these precast beams. He had another way of doing it. But see, I get into technical things, and we figured out another way to do it, but we couldn't do it until he went to Chennai for something, and then we did it, and he came back and it was done, and then he saw it, and then he tested, okay, and we saved about 5 years. Also, to get the ramps over to, we made them in the workshop. We had 22 pieces. It's 11 on each side, and they weigh a few tons each. He wanted to build a railroad, you know, rails and rail cars, and then we would put it on the rail car, and then we would come over and bring it. And we said, that will take a really long time, a lot of expense. So one day when he wasn't here, I think he had to go to the dentist in Bondi, we put it on 2 wheelbarrows. We had these big cement wheelbarrows. We lift up one end of the ramp, stuck it into here, pulled it up, put it in there, and we had about 20 people, and we took it down. There's a slope. We took it down, we got it in. So all those little things happened. So many things. And so it was amazing. It was like a miracle, because you see, you can't make a building like that with a bunch of amateurs, you know, and spend 37 years on it. It's not possible in common sense or a business plan or something. No. But Auroville had to take another step. See, we're here to do something else. We're here to do the experiment. That's why we have to be careful now not to fall back into the old ways, because the old ways didn't work. The world's falling apart. We need the new way. So how to get to it? We use Matrimandir, we use the energy of Matrimandir to make the transition to the true Auroville. The energy is there. Did I tell you enough?
Yeah, I was also interested, like, inside, for example, because I don't know how people should be positioned inside together, maybe meditating, right? And like staying together, like in a spaceship, you know? And I was wondering if there's some groups of Aurovillian that experimented this kind of state together, or if there are
Oh, see, now you brought up a very good point, because see, that's what the mother did not want to happen. Because the tendency among all of us, because we're conditioned that way, is to make a religion out of it and to have ritual. Okay, at 7 o'clock every night, at least a small group should go there and focus the energy, you know, for the rest of the people who are not quite up to, or any of that kind of thinking. No flowers inside, no incense, you see, to keep out that sense of formalizing it, institutionalizing it, so that some people are better than others and they can go and do No, not to organize anything in Matrimandir. You can come out here, you can have your Vipassana, your Zen, whatever you want, any kind of meditation schools, wonderful. But you don't, and that's another thing about groups. People will say, okay, we have this special group coming from the Oneness Institute in China. We want them all to go in. No, each one has to choose to go in. You don't bring, it's not a tourist place, you see. We let the tourists in, but each one has to choose to go to Mat. You don't get it as part of a package because you bought a package tour of South Indian temples and Matrimandir is one of them. That won't work.
So it's meant to be an individual experience.
Exactly, exactly. And no ritual, see? No ritual. That, like you have to do, like you have to go in and bow 3 times before you go through the door.
Got it. But it's called mandir, right?
Well, mandir is a wide term. See, there are restaurants that are called mandirs, you know.
Yeah. But the meaning is like temple, right?
No, no. Many temples are called mandirs, but if you check the roots of the word, the mandir means it's a special place, very special. And of course, temples are very special places, so there are a lot of mandirs. But technically, Matrimandir, you don't want to put it in the temple category because people like to think like that. Okay, what is it? They only have a certain number. Is it a temple? Is it a church? Is it a mosque? What is it? It's none. All religions are there. See, it's universal. And even there's an Om and a few things, and people sometimes say, oh, this is a Hindu thing. Om is not a Hindu thing. It's a universal sound. Things like that. Yeah.
The root word of mandir is dira is a dwelling, is a place, and man is inner being. Man, so it's a place, dwelling of inner consciousness in a way.
Yeah, good.
I mean, we call all temples mandir
Yeah.
in Hindi.
Sure.
Sanskrit.
That's fine. That's fine.
That is the.
But we just have to understand the difference
I
here.
mean, the idea is the same for a mandir, any mandir,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Every,
and there is vastu in all the mandirs.
yeah, Vatsu,
Why
all,
you built it is the same.
yeah. And there's also the ley lines, the energy lines of the earth. We had some of these specialists who came. There are energy lines across the earth, and where 2 cross, there's a special portal. They call them portals or openings. You know that word. It's very popular now. And those people have identified there's a crossing there of 2 energy lines. So this is what the rishis could do. Where do you put the temple? Well, the rishi could sense where the sacred spot was, where the inner being would be positioned, and they build the temple there. And they, you know, all over the world there are these sacred places. So this is a sacred place also, and it's oriented on the compass. So 4 entrances, north, south, east, west, and oriented on the powers of the mother, because you know the mother has the 4 powers, the Mahakali, Mahalakshmi, Maheshwari, Mahasaraswati. So those 4 powers are there. And the mother symbol has 12 petals around it, and the mother symbol is represented by those petals, and each one of them has a quality, and each one of them has a color. So peace has a certain color. You go into the peace petal. You want some peace, you go into the peace petal. Generosity, gratitude, they're all there. So it's not just a chamber. You have the gardens, you have all this is an energy center. And we'll have that when we have the lake, it will be really a mandir situation. So the thing is that sometimes people say we're not making use of it. But a lot of people, you know.
Also, it's not accessible.
Huh?
It's not really accessible. Like when I want to come, I can't.
Oh, of course you can.
No, I can't. They stop me at the gate.
Oh, no, 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 no. That's not true. You have to talk to the right people. You talk to me. I will take you with me in anytime. Monday, Wednesday, when I go. But no, you see, there has to be a certain crowd control, let's call it, use that word. We can't, so it's open all morning and all evening, early evening, late evening, all early morning for the Aurovillians. Any Aurovillian can go, any newcomer can go. So if you're not a newcomer, you can't, you know, if you're just a visitor, okay. But if you're a visitor or a volunteer, you can get special permission. And you can go and you can talk to me, Nal, or the people in the office, and you say, could I come at this time? And they will give you times.
I mean, just to the point that it's for everyone. It's not really.
Well, who's everyone?
Everyone is everyone.
No, but you. What is your problem?
My problem is that they say that, yeah, I need permission.
Yeah, okay, then you get the permission.
Yeah, so it's,
Yeah.
but you see where I'm coming from.
No.
Oh.
No, I think you should take the initiative. See, if somebody wants, if you want to go into Matrimandir, I know people who are not Aurovillians, they're nothing. They go to Matrimandir all the time. So you have to take the initiative. And if somebody says, oh no, you can't go because you don't have this slip or that slip, then you go and get this or that slip. And if one person doesn't give it to you, the next one will.
But
No, you had a personal problem. Okay, I can understand that. You talked to somebody and they wouldn't let you go. Okay. But that doesn't stop you.
I mean, it's not my personal problem.
Oh, you're talking about other people.
I mean, it's a thing. It's not excessive.
No, that's a general thing. People say, oh, I had a hard time going to Matrimandir.
Savi work, then you can go.
Huh?
I'm here in the garden, so when somebody makes it Savi work, really with the heart, because what he said, it's not a touristic place. So when
Yeah,
you
it's
make a
not
real Savi work in the garden,
Yeah.
you can go.
Yeah.
Well, I have the same problem actually. You never know when you can come,
Yeah.
and each time there is someone telling me, "Oh, but you cannot come. It's not the good time for you." And I say, "But I'm a newcomer," and then it's like I'm never in the right
Yeah.
box to be there.
But it's written there at the entry. It's written when it's the timing.
Yeah. No, these are, I mean, these little issues can be worked out, you know. I mean, this is, no, the Matrimandir is open for everyone, but you have to just find your way.
Even for Aurovillians, there are certain times which are restricted.
Yeah.
So like you said, it is to harmoniously manage various aspirants. So we have certain time for Aurovillians, some time for volunteers, and a very specific time for tourists. What we can do is, recently they published a time schedule when who can go. We can I can request HRS to share that with everyone.
What about people who work in Auroville, not volunteers? People who
Employees.
are employed in
So
Auroville.
there are a lot of these, like he said. I know many people who come from ashram not associated with Auroville who live nearby. If somebody can go to the office and show true aspiration to be there regularly, not as a touristy one-time affair, I think they make an exception.
Of course.
However, they don't announce it explicitly. I think this is what.
Yeah.
How can they even announce it? That
Yeah, it's something around.
But what about VAPs that come from central government like that?
Well, the government people, that's another story. See, that's the administration. They have certain times and they arrange that. We've got nothing to say about that. That's
Within the Matrimandir, I also have one question.
okay.
So I used to go every week to the Petties,
Hmm.
and one time I think that was the last time actually I went to the Petties. I was sitting and I wanted to focus on the color, so I was just sitting, not looking at the circle, you know, in the center, the mandala design. I was looking at the sides. I wanted to just see the light, just be absorbed in light. And I was told, you can't do that. And I was like, what? And they make a big fuss out of it that you can't just sit in whatever angle you want to sit, and you have to sit in this angle and look straight. And I was like, are you serious?
Well, that's you know, there are the people that are in Matrimandir, you know, trying to organize. Every one of them has their own personality and their own problems. So they may, you know, have some, you know, I don't know, control issues or whatever. But those people keep changing also. So if you have a trouble with one person, you go another day, or you say no.
I did.
Oh, okay. You say no.
But then
Then
they
they didn't bring the guards and drag you out.
No, they didn't do that.
Okay, okay.
But they'd come in size.
Don't let these little things bother you. No, 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 no. The petals is another thing. See, petals are there. People hardly ever go to the petals. Hardly ever go. So they're there for us.
B, if you can also explain
Yeah.
the names of the petals and the gardens are different.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you can also explain about, in Park of Unity and other gardens,
Sure.
and how many are done, how many are yet to be finished,
Yeah.
and also the role and necessity for silence and concentration.
Yeah.
while
Well,
you are-
yeah. See, all the so-called rules are necessary so that everybody can have a good experience. So you don't want to make this into a park, where people come for picnics and and some people bring their kids here and they're going swimming and everything. It has to be a place of concentration. So these are kind of obvious things. As far as one interesting thing is about the gardens all have a set of names and the petals all have a set of names, and there's 12 of each. But there's one duplicate where there's one garden and one petal that have the same name. Does anybody know what that is and why the mother did that? Huh? Progress. Exactly. So we have a garden of progress and a petal of progress because progress is important. But the names, I mean, they're all listed out there. I said a few of them. I don't know if I remember all of them by heart, but I think you know most of them. It's peace and goodness and gratitude, generosity, aspiration, equanimity. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So they're all there. The gardens, the garden. See, then they get into these funny stories. There are the 12 gardens, and then they say, but the garden around Matrimandir is called, around the banyan is called the Garden of Unity. So then some people say, well, then you have 13 gardens, Or then somebody was asking about the Garden of the Unexpected. Well, that'd be 14. But see, it's not, you don't want to get into what we would call literal thinking. You don't want to be, we have to relax, We have to calm down and enjoy this place. And the bliss, it's about joy. It's not about restriction. See, I know your point is very important. That a lot of people get put off immediately because a lot of the people trying to organize Matrimandir, they're not friendly. They push the people in line and don't do that, don't do this, get rid of that water bottle, all that kind of stuff happens. But we have to, not let that bother us. Not let it take away from the situation. And actually, it's a good indicator. If somebody says some stupid thing to you about what you should or shouldn't do, and if I get upset, it's a reflection on me. You see? Why should I get upset when they said, oh, you have to sit at this angle rather than that angle? We take everything. See, there's another great principle from Sri Aurobindo and the Mother called the sunlit path. Everything that happens to you happens for a reason, and it's a grace. And you take it that way with a positive attitude, and then you always can live very well. There's a whole, the ashram published a booklet called The Sunlit Path. They made a huge mistake in doing that, because in that booklet there's not one thing about the sunlit path. And then you ask somebody about the sunlit path, oh yeah, I read it. Well, then what's the sunlit path? Well, I don't know, there were different quotes in there. Was there a quote about sunlit path? And I at Franz's from the press, Prisma, we made another little booklet, The Way of the Sunlit Path. And we got everything out of Mother and Sri Aurobindo that tells you what the sunlit path is. The psychological state that it represents. And when you're in that state, Satchidananda. So we have the data we need, we have the information, but the experience, see, intellectually not enough. That's why Matrimandir is an energy center, not an intellectual center, not an academic thing. It's something that we experience. So the mother is everywhere. People really, I remember when we were working on this building, you know, and it was a lot of money going into it. They said, this is stupid waste of time. You're putting gold on there. People are starving in the villages. Sell the gold, feed the people, let them sit under the banyan tree. The banyan tree is more powerful than any building you could ever build. We had to deal with that. But that's true too. But some people need the building. Some people, the banyan tree was enough. Buddha only needed the Bodhi tree. So we have a banyan tree here and a Bodhi tree over there. So if you want to do the Buddha thing, you go over there. You want to do the banyan thing, you go here. All the sacred trees of India are here. These neem trees, you can sit under a neem tree. Okay, if a neem tree is spiritual atmosphere, how long do you have to sit under it till you get it?
It depends, huh?
What?
It depends on the person.
That's right. How long would it take you?
Depends on my daily state.
Maybe,
Sometimes to walk under it is enough.
But-
Sometimes I have to sit around.
but see, you're already doing it. You're already here. That's what we have to realize. It happens here, it happens now. Not someday you're going to sit under a neem tree. You're sitting under the neem tree now. So get it now. Do I come and hit you with a stick? That's what they do. So you guys, you got a little sense of Matrimandir? Ask anything. Ask anything. What?
If you feel inside this connection, is it needed to read all the books from Sri Aurobindo and the Mother if you feel really the passion of your collaboration, if you feel the gratitude, if you have really this connection, is it needed to read all?
What do you think? What do you think?
No.
Yeah, right.
No.
Of course not. If you've got it, you don't need to read it.
But when I'm in the end of the newcomer process and I have an interview, I have this card, so sorry when I say this, then what happened with me when I have this inner connection and I can explain it in my words.
No, you just explained it to me.
Yeah.
You said you can say to any, you know, I mean, when you go to an entry board or the entry service, any of those people, they're not there to decide whether you should come to Auroville. You're supposed to decide whether you want to come to Auroville, and they're supposed to help you. That's their role. See, in this administrative thing, we get screwed up. So the entry, every service in Auroville is for you, not for the service itself. Okay, the financial service, they don't own your money. It's your money, or the divines. So you don't need any of that. And a lot of people can't read the books, you know. Even though I always say Sri Aurobindo is so simple and so perfect, people say, oh, you look at Savitri, no, there's some big words in here. The big words are all in the footnotes. You have a dictionary, you have a phone. You can learn. I mean, it's worth it to understand some of the writing. If you don't need it, fine. And think of a lot of people, you know, who maybe there are thousands of illiterate people in the village. They just go out and they sit under a neem tree or they sit under a banyan tree and they guard it. Every village has enlightened people in them. Otherwise, they wouldn't survive. And they take care of other people and they're healers and all these people. We have everybody we need. And in Auroville, we've got a lot of great people. And it's the people. you know, the people. So what you read, what you don't read, I mean, they like people to have some idea about Sri Aurobindo, but not needed. And anybody can educate them, because here we also have that thing of unending education. We keep learning, we keep learning. When you stop learning, you die. So there's always new things, and we can easily, and there's enough challenge, there's enough stimulation in the environment. And you know, look at the concerts, and we have it. I mean, Auroville is a utopian thing. Some people don't think so, but it is. There's no place in the world. I traveled the whole world. I looked around. I came to India in 1971. I looked in India and I said, this country is hopeless. I'm never coming back here again. It's going to completely, eventually fail. I'm never coming to India again. 3 years later, I heard about Auroville and I came back, and here I am. You see, but there's no Matrimandir anywhere. I mean, you can go to the Baha'i temple in Delhi. It's nice. These places are nice. But the energy is completely different here. This is the transformational energy. Yeah.
Talking about energy,
Yeah.
you also mentioned more times like the quantum discoveries and all,
Yes.
the most recent.
Yes.
I'm curious to know, because I strongly believe that progress is actually the conjunction between science and spirit.
Yes.
Right? So I'm trying to understand from kind of scientific point of view,
Yeah.
the vibration and the energy. Because, for example, the bowl, I see also on a lot of mandir here in Tamil Nadu, there's bowl over the mandir, and when they got hit by a thunder, actually they got this energy into the, and it looks like a big bowl, isn't it? And so I'm trying, this is just what my intuition is giving
Yeah.
me. And I'm curious to know if there's some kind of scientific, spiritual explanation is so clear, unconditional love, the mother womb kind of. I'm trying also to understand like the more scientific point of view of
Yeah.
the mathematics.
Well, that will come from your own experience and your own background. See, somebody else will look and see the egg of Brahman at Matrimandir, or they will see the geodesic dome of Buckminster Fuller, you know, channeling the energy. So all of these interpretations, but science has established, proved now, that we're quantumly entangled. And this is all energy. When you look out of your eyes, it's all Maya. And you're putting it together. And you're putting it together. And it's an energetic thing, and it has a vibrational level. And there are all these levels. And you can go up to the intuitive level, you go to the supramental. The Sri Aurobindo gave the whole plan in Synthesis of Yoga. So that's there too. So for you, that might be important. It might not be for him, but it doesn't matter. See, that's the thing. It doesn't matter, because what we need individually, we get, because we manifest it. I have a need in me for something. It comes because I am a creator. I have the God power. You have the God power. Everybody has the God power. That's why we connect in Matrimandir. It helps wake it up a little bit. You don't have to get your Kundalini going. You just have to connect to the mother. And you don't need the Kundalini because you have the mother. Yeah. It's all pretty simple. And if we relax, see, if we calm down, that's a big secret. I got that secret from a Sufi master. This guy was so amazing. He was from Turkey. This guy, people are asking him to explain everything. Explain Sufism. You probably know about Sufism. So he said, yeah, I can explain Sufism. It has 3 principles. First principle, he said, is calm down. Second principle, calm down. Third principle. And everybody got it. Everybody calmed down. The guy transmitted that energy. So when you calm down, what happens? Quiet mind. Sri Aurobindo said you can't do any yoga if you don't have a quiet mind. If you don't have a quiet mind, you're going to be thinking about my job, what am I going to do tomorrow, what went wrong yesterday. If you don't have a quiet mind, you can't make the contact. That's why Matrimandir is so important, because it helps you. So you walk in, you pass these flowers with all their vibrations. You keep walking. You go in. You start up the ramp. The whole place is in this sort of pinkish color. That's the supramental color. And the mother specified to Roger to put that color in there artificially any way you make that color. And she had wearing a sari that was that color, that orangey pink color. That's the same as the flower. You know what she did? She took her sari. She asked her attendant there for a scissor. She cut a piece off the sari. She gave it to her. You make this color. That's how the mother worked. And they did. And she said, you make the crystal this big. The guy ran with a tape measure and he measured it. That's how we got the 70 centimeter thing. Same for the amphitheater. You know how long it took the amphitheater to be built? Because this is February 1968. 4,000 people are coming. So, what did the mother do? She called the engineer from the ashram. She said, you go out there. There's a banyan tree next over there. You put this amphitheater. We have to have an amphitheater for 4,000 people. This is February 1st. The guy goes out there. He looks around. He takes a little survey. Goes back to the mother and he says, Mother, this is impossible. We cannot build an amphitheater like that in 3 weeks. And the mother said to him, you can if you start tomorrow. And they did. And they made it. And then she needed that urn, you know, to put the earth in from all the countries. So there was an Italian guy in the ashram, Vincenzo. His daughter lives in Auroville, Oro Taranti. So she said to Vincenzo, you make this urn. She had an envelope there. She drew it on the back of an envelope. It's like this. It's a lotus bud. Has to be this big. We're going to have earth. She gave him the envelope. You make this. And he said, Mother, I can't do that. I'm a mechanic. I'm not an artist. And the mother said, you're an Italian. All Italians are artists. Start tomorrow. So he goes to the ashram workshop and he's working. So he's drinking coffee all day and smoking bidis to keep himself going, you know, because he's got to get this thing done. So then all the ashramites reported him to the mother. That guy is drinking coffee and smoking bidis all day. The mother said, please leave the man alone. He's got a job to do. So the last 3 days, Vincenzo stayed up all night to finish that urn. So when the big ceremony came, 4,000 people, all the cameras, everything, he was home sleeping. So Vincenzo did that. That's how the mother worked. And that's how we have to work. We have to do it. This is karma yoga. Auroville is karma yoga. It's not about, you know, over tea time we can discuss a lot of things, but you still have to, you know, dig the trench, plant the tree. 3 million trees. We had to plant it. You can't believe how this place looked. I mean, look at the photos. I mean, I you know, like, how are people going to live here? I looked around. How are people going to live here? I can't live here. But we went to every botanical garden in India and took all the seeds. We set up a production line in the Matrimandir nursery down there. Every day we had all these people. We had an old Dutch lady who had a green thumb. You see, when you have to transplant a little seedling into a plastic bag so it grows up for a year as a tree so it can make it in the outside, half the people who transplanted these things, half of them would die. You know, take that little seed. This woman, everyone, none died. Everyone. So she worked every day. And they refused her to come to Auroville when she first came because they said, you're too old. She was like 60 some years old. you're too old. You can't do it here. She said, no, I can. Give me a chance. And she lived to be 90. And every day she worked. That's how we got 3 million trees. So these are the people, the pioneers. They made it. And you're the pioneers of the new age. Now we have to do it. We got an even tougher job. Because those jobs were, physical, easy to understand. Now we've got a lot of psychological issues or sociological issues. How are we going to work together? How are we going to manifest the spirit of Auroville, the collaboration? How are we going to do it? So now we have these new things, pro-social, heart weavers, dream weavers, all this stuff. We've got to do it. We've got to do it.
Visiting the Matrimandir office will send us an email with a form. And that form, I would send it to all of you. You fill in, and you can directly send it to the Matrimandir access group, and they will give you timings that you can visit the Matrimandir.
But we are newcomers, you can go in any.
Yeah, now there's some procedures have changed. One of the executives just called me. He said that he would send this email to us with the form, and that we will give it to you. And you
For
fill in.
people who
So
was
now
not
we
before
cannot
there.
go in
Yeah.
anymore?
It's
Yeah.
only for these people who is
For the first time, the
Yeah,
ones who are
that
going
you have
in
to say.
for the first time.
time.
Yeah.
Already